Hello, I'm going to give you a simple demonstration here of the way that I import references into Endnote. There could be better ways to do it, but this is a way that works for me. I think it's reasonably simple and it will ensure consistency of the way your references are stored in Endnote. So I have Endnote open on my computer. I'm using a Macintosh computer, so things might be slightly different on PCs, I don't know. So this is an Endnote library stored on my computer. It's called Darren's New Library Converted. If you look in this area, you can see this little folder, and actually if I pause on that, it tells me it's in local library mode. So this is an Endnote library I've created stored on my computer. So I have a new reference here that I would like to get into these reference lists. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm just going to copy the heading of the article from the PDF. Then next to this file, there's a little symbol of the world, online search mode. So I'm going to click on that. And what I'm going to do is click here on PubMed. So now I'm into the PubMed library. On the title section, I can paste that title and press return. And the search is coming up with one retrieved reference. So I'll go OK. And here we go, that's the reference. I can click on that and see the details, and this is indeed the article that I have the PDF for here. So now on my Mac, I'm going to do a double click on this, which I guess is a right click on a PC, and come down to copy reference to, and I'm going to copy it to my Darren's New Library, the one that I've got open. So I click on that. So now if I go back to the local library and copied references, and now this reference is in my library. Another good thing to do with Endnote is to store the actual PDFs in there. So if I drag this PDF onto this article and there's a plus sign, drop that. And then sometimes you need to click off it to see it save, and you would have seen this little paperclip appear. So now that article is stored in Endnote, and if I go Option Command P, it brings up my PDF. So I can delete that from my screen if I want, because it's now stored in Endnote. I will just quickly say, I think it's good to have a convention for naming articles. So I've named this, and this is how I name all of the PDFs I get, with the first author's name, the year of publication, the journal, and a little description about what the PDF is. So in this case, I've said early life inflammatory predictors of low back pain. The reason I do that is, like in Apple, if I want to search and find this article, if I can basically remember this, it's an easy way to search in Spotlight. So I can go Bainan 2021, which this is in the European Journal of Pain, and you can see in Spotlight it's picked it up. So actually that's the one stored on the desktop, and this is the one in my Endnote library. So that's just helpful to have a convention for naming papers, I think. All right, so now I'm going to give you another example. So here's another article, a new one I'd like to get into Endnote. So again, I'm going to copy the heading. I'm going to go back to the online library here. I'm going to replace the heading. I'm going to press return. Now it's got no matching references here, but actually I've made a little mistake. I didn't press on PubMed. So now I'm back into PubMed, and I'm going to search again, and there's still no matching references. So sometimes that happens. The title search can be quite sensitive. So I wonder what will happen if I remove the bit after the colon. Still nothing. Most of the time the title will get you what you want, but sometimes if you put the author, so we grab JP's last name here, put that in the author search. This is from this year, I think, in 2020 it's saying. So now I can search by author and year, And this time come up with 16 references. I'll press OK. Go down the list. Maybe I'll put it in alphabetical order. JP. Beliefs about body and pain, a critical role in musculoskeletal pain, Brazilian Journal of Physiotherapy. I think that's the reference I'm after. Yep. So now I can import that. So the search function can be a little sensitive. So again, I've double clicked on it, copy reference to Darren's new library. If I go back now to the folder here, look at copied references, there's JP's article. I'm going to drag that on there. It's appeared. If I click on this and go back to all references, you'll now see it highlighted here. It's in my overall library of references. So 90% of the time, using the inbuilt online PubMed search, you can find the references really easy and get them into Endnote. Occasionally, I won't find one. Sometimes I'll do my literature searching from here. So let's say in a few weeks I need to do a talk on the sacroiliac joint. So I just want to do a quick screen of any new articles on the sacroiliac joint. Gives me 52. So this is with sacroiliac in the title. Bring them up, and then I can kind of go through this list and see if there's any that I might want to read and add into, say, my lecture on sacroiliac joint. So it's useful here just for searching, and then if any come up, I can automatically put them in the library as well. All right, good. Now, yeah, most of the time I'm going to be able to find references this way. Occasionally, that it's not easy to find them in PubMed. So in that situation, you may need to download the citation from the internet. So perhaps I didn't prepare myself to do this, but I'll just go to Safari. Well, I'll just do a quick, let's go to this one. Pull that. Sorry for this little detour. Bring that back to where my Endnote library was. We'll just potentially use Ambers again, just as an example. So I might copy that, just search the internet for it. This is going to take me to Wiley's library directly. And often you will find, and hopefully I can here, something like, maybe it'll be in Tools, Export Citation. So Export Citation. This is giving me some options here. While there's an EndNote one here, I have much more success with this RIS format. So I don't know why, but I would just recommend go with RIS. So now I'm going to download that. It's downloaded. I'll just put it on my desktop here, so it's easy to locate. We'll go back to EndNote. I can File, Import, and it's going a bit slow. It's on my desktop. I think it started with P, so we'll just go down to P. There it is. So it's .ris file, and I'll go import. So now in imported references, I've imported this again. So that's another way to get the ones in. I think it'll be interesting to see if we go to all references again. So that's the one I've just pulled in then, and this is the prior one. See, they're a bit different. This one doesn't have the full names of the authors, but in general, you're not using, full names of authors anyway. You just need initials. And so it's slightly different, but that's where I would stick with the first method internally through EndNote first, because you'll get consistency much more of the time than when you get the RIS files or download a file from elsewhere, because this can be in all kinds of different formats. And lastly, sometimes you just need to type one in yourself. So if you do, I would really say look at how it's done in one that you've imported and replicate that. So particularly around you're putting names in, make sure there's a comma after the surname. You've got the full stops of the initials. You want to standardize that as much as you can. So to do that, you go references, new reference, and then you can type away. But I'd also just put you to this line here. So if you're putting in a journal article, it's all set there. But maybe it's more likely to be something like a book section. So change this to book section and then put the information in. And again, that'll much improve the, I guess, the accuracy of the information you've got in. So I'm not going to save that one. And I'm going to delete, because I don't need Amber in there twice, so just deleted that. Good. So that is my way of getting references into EndNote. It works well for me. I think it's simple, and I think if you follow those instructions, it'll have a lot more consistency in your EndNote library, and then just make it easier for other people to use it. As I said, there may be better ways. I'm not an EndNote expert, but this works for me, and I'd suggest as a minimum you use this. And if you're better at EndNote than that, then go for it. But as a basic, this is a good way to go. All right, thanks for listening, and I hope that helps.